Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us this week for the Tipple's virtual wine of the week tasting with Elizabeth and Jeff Vaudrey here in Gainesville, Florida. This week, we are going to be drinking the Columna Albarino from Rías Baixas in Spain.
Okay. Is that really how you pronounce it?
It is. It's
Okay,
Baixas. It has an X in it, but
All right.
it's a sh.
Okay.
So Rías Baixas in Spain. So if you have not already done so, go ahead and pop that bottle open. I chilled mine down to about 40 degrees-ish in the fridge. About 1 hour in the refrigerator will do it. And let's get some wine in you. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And if you will, while I'm pouring mine, pull up the first slide.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's just about to drink, but whatever you want.
I told you to drink, and then I gave you something to do.
Exactly.
Sorry. All right, so here we are, the Columna. Some serious ratings on this guy, right? So Wine and Spirits Magazine, 93 points. Willy Wong, 92 points. Food pairings. This guy's a seafood trooper, right? Fish tacos, caprese salad with scallops as a bonus. Ceviche, fried grouper, or even grilled swordfish. For this guy, grilled swordfish, because this is a bit of a bigger
Okay, I was just
Albarino.
gonna ask because I thought grilled swordfish, don't we do like
It could be a
Pinot Noir?
Yeah, you could.
Okay.
You could. It can be some Albarinos
Mhm.
grown closer to the coast, cooler growth, can have maybe a little harder time with something like swordfish, more like something with oysters.
Okay.
But this guy's a bit bigger and richer. It's inland, which we'll discuss at length coming up. So swordfish is back on the menu, boys. All right.
Would you like for me to continue having this up here?
No, let's jump back to just us talking about it. All right. So as you guys kind of take a sip and a sniff, 100% Albarino. It's all Albarino. So it's kind of a nice way to get to know the grape. I love doing something that's a single varietal when it's not something we drink regularly. Alcohol content, 13%.
Oh, really?
So for a white, a little bumped up,
Yeah.
like I mentioned. It's a little riper version. Ageability. This guy's meant for young consumption.
Okay.
But because Albarino, especially this one, has a little higher alcohol, still has nice acidity, you can go 5-7 years if you wanted to.
Okay.
Now this is a 2020, so we're dealing right in the sweet spot, kind of the young years. Stainless steel, no barrel aging on this guy. All stainless, fresh, and you're getting what the grape is presenting. And
what are the little prickles?
So it's interesting to bring that up. So the prickles are going to be a combination of two things. Mostly acid.
Okay.
So it's that acid, prickly acidity. The other thing is this is a very thick-skinned white grape. So it's not exactly tannins, but it's getting tannin-ish in what it provides, right?
All right, because first when I was tasting it, I was like, oh, I feel the little, nope, it's white, not tannins. But,
right.
Okay.
No, but
right.
you're right. It's funny that you picked that up. That was really good. Once again, people are going to assume that we practice that. It's so
unusual that Elizabeth picked something up.
No, people are going to assume because it plays right into the discussion tonight. This is a thick-skinned white grape.
Okay.
So it does have some extra texture to the wine.
So that is what makes it like heavier and higher alcohol because the thicker skins, or
no? The alcohol will come from additional sugar.
Okay.
And but the thicker skins are going to give us a lot of flavors to discuss, and they will also add to some of the the viscosity of the grape, of the wine as well. That thick heaviness that we kind of have in here.
All right. So the bigger bodied is part of that. Like if we say heaviness, do we mean like?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Heaviness, bigger body, same thing.
Okay.
Yes. Good point. So, all right, now that everyone's had a little time, I can go first, or you guys can go first with what are some of the characteristics you guys are getting as you smell and taste the wine.
You can raise your hand or grab the mic or write in the chat box.
That's right. So I'm going to go with pears on the
Oh,
palate,
yeah. Mhm.
honeydew,
Okay.
and tangerine on the citrus side. Maybe a little bit of a citrus rind in there too, because there's a bit of a some.
I don't know where you get your honeydew from, but I'm very impressed. I was thinking more like, I definitely had the pear, but I was thinking like, is there an apple, like a green apple in this one at all?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. They
Honeydew.
green apple, and sometimes they'll call it quince. I always like to just default to keep green apple because when have we had a quince, right?
Yeah, no.
So totally agree on the green apple call.
What about honeysuckle?
Honeysuckle, yes. So the floral side of it, right?
I'm not sure which of the three of them it was. Okay, Laura.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely. Honeysuckle is a great one. Some people say jasmine, which I'm not quite getting in here. To me, it's more honeysuckle. I think that is the call to make, which is why I kind of went with that melon honeydew quality.
Mhm.
You know, maybe a bit if you imagine when you get honeydew closer to the rind, when it starts to get a little more tart,
Mhm.
you know, so yeah, it's rather than that richer. And I've had wines that are the rich honeydew,
Yeah.
but this is not so much that guy. But it still has a melony quality to me, like a rind.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
Very fresh, but very big and bold. And I think that'll show, like, if you had even a swordfish with a little light cream sauce on it,
Mhm.
it can handle this. And it would play with that very nicely.
Sure,
The
sure.
the savoriness of the fattiness in that bigger fish
Mhm.
would work well with the acid in here, and they would play together.
So we're doing tonight, we have butternut squash soup and shrimp.
Mhm.
That works with this.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, especially because it was a coconut. It's a coconut oil
Yeah, shrimp. Mhm.
skeleted shrimp.
Yeah,
So that kind of rich savory playing
Mhm.
with the seafood side is going to be beautiful with it.
this is the second week in a row we have something that actually pairs with the wine we're drinking. I mean, it's a big step for us.
All right. So, and if I go to, like, you know, it's like, hey, let's go to the notes, right? So the notes in there, green apple, like Jason pointed out, lemon zest, sweet flowers, which I think the honeysuckle is a great call. Honeysuckle is listed, citrus, pear, lemon. And then we kind of ran around it, right?
Yeah.
Weighty and round on the palate. They say like almost a waxiness in
So when
the
you say
experience.
citrus, I know you said tangerine. I'm getting kind of a grapefruit. Is that completely wrong?
Grapefruit was said, tangerine was not. That was me.
Okay.
Because I found it to be, because the acidity is pleasant and not real biting,
Okay.
I didn't go, but it is more like, it's almost like the taste of a white grapefruit, but the gentleness of a pink grapefruit. And so that's why I went tangerine.
Okay.
Right.
All right. For me, I was just going, I
But
taste
no,
grapefruit.
grapefruit is
Okay.
literally one of the ones
right.
listed. So you are correct.
So Paul asked if anyone else had issues with the cork, and Jen and Jason said, no, not this time.
Yeah. Yeah. I had no
the
problem.
Snyders did.
So,
Oh, and Robin said she did too.
yeah.
So
Really? So, yeah, I don't know. Now it is kind of a, I mean, it's a little bit of a spongy cork. I mean, you definitely, you can't
it's a
man the,
natural cork.
yeah. you
So we have more problems
yeah.
with those than.
I mean, I
than
would say you
synthetic.
certainly can't manhandle this guy.
Mhm.
You gotta, just be kind of, it's one of those where if you get to a friction point, you're going to want to just hold the pressure for a minute and let it give instead of powering through.
Mhm.
And that's where corks rip a lot of time. And that's a technique that I picked up, is when you're there and you start pulling on a cork and it hangs up for a minute, just leave the pressure right there and it will give, instead of adding extra power and then
That'll
it'll
rip
rip.
it? Okay.
Yes. So that's just a suggestion.
Finesse it a little.
Jeff, you're a maestro. I never even thought about holding the pressure. You're right, because I always rip them. I'm gonna try that next time.
Oh, good. Thanks. Yeah, no, and I broke many a cork until I thought, wait a minute, just hold it. Yep. And it gave before I did. So it might have been close. The old man in the sea.
I don't know. I here's the thing. I open them so rarely that I break mine a lot because Jeff always opens them for me. So
Well, it's,
I think I open bottles like maybe 5 times a year.
Right.
So
well, the other option is that new technique with the new technology, which is the ones with the CO2 cartridge. And you just put a needle down in there. You pump a little CO2 and it pops itself out.
then you don't have to worry.
You're not going to
about
rip a cork that way.
learning how to do that.
And they're really not expensive. Like, I'm not shilling. I think it's a really cool technology. I think it's really good.
That's actually, I need one whenever I go up to Auburn, so I can just use that.
There
Then
you
I
go.
don't have to,
You can take the one that we have.
because I will say that there are some weeks that I just like end up pushing the cork all the way into the bottle and going, oh,
Right.
wow.
Yeah. I guess if I was going to shill it, I should like take one home and be like, as seen here, available at
there
Tipple's,
you
right?
go.
That's not the point of the evening. We're here to drink wine. All right, so cool. Let's go back to the slides. We're going to talk about the label.
Okay, here we go. And somebody asked for Linda to show them. Is your bottle different, Linda? I don't know.
I don't know, but Brenda has awesome Wi-Fi. Says she's coming here from California. So
I know, right? I'm
Right.
jealous of everything she's posted.
I'm not sure if you want to see my wine bottle.
we're intercontinental.
Yeah, we absolutely do, Linda.
No, you don't.
Okay.
We'll
Okay.
save
Oh,
it
yes,
for the
yes,
after
they
party.
do. Come on,
Okay,
come
she's
on.
gonna save it for the after party, she
Okay.
said.
Okay, okay.
That's fine.
Okay,
All right, let's jump back and let's talk about this label.
okay.
All
It's a
right.
very pretty label.
It is pretty, right? Well, the butterfly.
Yeah, well, it actually looks like, when I look at it, I like the look of it, but it also looks like it could be like a piece of wrapping paper.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah.
The mariposa.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the front, you get in here, you say, okay, attractive label, Columna Albarino. So let's, once again, this is always supposed to be taken from the eye of, you're walking around, you don't have someone to ask, what more do you know, right? Say, okay, you might not have experience with Albarino. So all you know is it's a white wine with a pretty label. Albarino, so what's got in the back? The back of this bottle has some serious information on it.
It looks like a lot.
Yeah, I was teasing as I was putting the presentation together today. I was teasing with Jake. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to pour a glass and say, read the back, everybody. I'm going to be drinking. So it gives you a map of Spain with a, with a red star on right where this is from.
Oh yeah, see, you don't need a map of Spain this week. They can just look at the back.
Yeah,
There you go.
there you go. This 100% Albarino listed right there, ripe and juicy version, right? They give you some tasting notes, some sea salt, which we didn't mention, but I totally get.
Oh yeah.
Citrus, green apple, shellfish, great with shellfish and seafood, particularly shrimp and oysters. We're having shrimp. So it's in a sub-region of Rías Baixas, right? The Condado de Tea, which we'll talk about that. Don't worry. I did my work. So, and it gives, but it even gives information like granite and alluvial soils. And, it's like, there's a lot of, it's taking my spiel.
That
It's
is
like,
a lot more than is normally given.
It is, which I
Yes.
really love. So if
Mhm.
you look on that, with all that additional information, let's wrap that all together instead of
Mhm.
discussing the specifics, because we're going to do that.
Okay,
And say they're really giving a lot of info. I love that. And it makes me feel good about the wine.
okay.
Right. So we're going back to, I'm walking through a wine store and I don't know. Right. So I love that. You got the importer over here, Ole Obrigado, 13% alcohol on there. So we get down here, we don't see estate grown anywhere.
Right.
All right. And it's not. All right. They're purchased
I
grapes,
just see product of Spain.
product of Spain. So it gets there. So you got a lot of specificity here, and then down here you get less, and there is more to learn. But it is from a very specific region. So it says product of Spain, but it is from. It's got the official sticker of the Rías Baixas down
Okay.
there. So we know it's Rías Baixas, not just outside that region. So we've got a lot of reasons. Okay, this is specificity of region, specificity of grape, specificity of sub-region as you read this
Mhm.
thing. So there's a lot of reasons to feel like these guys really do feel really confident about their wine, and they put a lot into it. So though it may be a negociant, once again, nothing wrong with buying your grapes. A lot of people do it. There's a reason there's a French word for it, right? So it doesn't say estate, but there is a lot of reason to say, okay, to feel comfortable with this bottle. So that is how I wrap that up. Next slide, please. All right, so Albarino. It is the grape, not the region. And that is kind of interesting. And for Albarino in Spain is one of the only grapes that is listed regularly, even in Spain, by the grape,
Huh.
not by the region. So they don't call it, Rías Baixas. Now I'm just skipping over the
Isn't
word.
like shush? you
Yeah,
said
it's a
before?
shut. Yeah. Rias Baixas.
Okay.
So anyway, so they don't list it by the region like Rioja.
Why?
I don't know. It seems to be just a regional choice
Okay.
from the way they did it, because I
I was
looked at
just
it
wondering
and I
if-
looked up and was like, okay, why? Because I heard the facts
Right.
and I was not able to find anything
Okay.
definitive.
Because it seems like maybe it's like an older grape and it was already established as a grape, or it's a newer grape and they decided not to name it for the region, like something out of sync with the rest.
Right. I was not able to find a good answer at all
Okay.
for why this grape. Right.
Okay.
So pale straw color, going with that. Yep.
Yeah.
And there's what they look
Mhm.
like.
Yeah, because sometimes I think you get like more orangey or golden looking.
Right.
Definitely
Which is
pale straw.
interesting because we're
Mhm.
talking about, as I mentioned, a thick skinned grape.
Yeah, true.
So it's giving us extra flavor characters, but not a lot of extra color.
Okay.
Go to the next slide,
So,
please.
I have a question because of this picture. It says it's in California.
Lodi, right.
Right. So do they? I haven't heard of any Albarino, but maybe I just haven't.
And we're actually going to cover
Okay.
where it's grown,
Okay.
and it will show that this is actually kind of a funny choice.
Oh,
but,
okay. Oh, hold on. We have two chats. So
Okay.
let me catch up with that. We had that conversation last week. Wine is art. So where do you make the line on how much you describe the item? How much do we like that there is a lot of description? Does the detail influence our own feelings on the wine? Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, right.
That was Paul.
So
Yeah.
I get it. It's going to be a back and forth, right?
Mhm.
Of presenting the art or making the customer comfortable with giving them as much information and
Right.
say, okay, I want you to feel comfortable because I invested
Right.
this information in you.
Right.
And I think that comes down to basically the style of the wine house.
Mhm.
You know, the style of the vintners on there with what they want to do. You've got one way or the other to go.
Right. Well, and he's right. Like we talked about it last week that, you know, when you're looking at a piece of artwork, you may have one interpretation of it. And then somebody else says, oh, this is what the artist was trying to express. And then, oh, that's what I'm seeing now because I'm influenced by
Right.
what was just presented to me. And the same thing can happen with wine, of course, too.
Right. And I feel like this one is a little splitting the difference because the front is all art.
Right.
Right.
True.
And the back is pragmatic.
Mhm.
And I think maybe they're trying to split the difference right in between there. Draw you in and then let you know, here's why you should drink this wine
Yeah.
and what you can expect.
Mhm. And then Chris says he still thinks it's pretty golden color.
Yeah.
Jeff,
Yes.
first of all, I'm surprised my mute and unmute is working. But is this for this manufacturer, is that pretty much the same for all their wines, that they're kind of artistic on the front and then descriptive on the back?
Yes. And particularly the being descriptive on the back, the Ole Obrigado, those guys tend to do that is their style.
So wait, that's the distributor.
That is the distributor
Right?
importer.
Okay.
Yeah, not the maker, but they are all under a big umbrella where they
Mhm.
control these wines. And so they decide on what's going to be on the bottle that's coming over to the US versus England versus that kind of
The
thing.
whole bottle, including the front label or just
Yes.
the back label?
Yeah. So
Oh, okay.
Columna, I've literally seen Columna Albarino
Mhm.
in Pinot Noir bottles
Okay.
in different countries.
Mhm.
So they change it based on their research into what they think will connect with people in different countries.
This is what Americans will like. Give them this one.
Right.
This is what the British will like.
Mhm.
Give them this one. Okay.
Right.
That's interesting. Okay, and then Robin said she definitely agrees regarding wine being like art. Sometimes it's nice to have a weird wine or something more complicated because it's fun challenge or adventure compared to something that's more easy drinking. Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
I'm
It's-
glad you think so.
Well, especially as I've become I'm not going to say sophisticated, more experienced wine drinker, that I like things that are more challenging now. Whereas when I was younger,
Mhm.
I just liked something that was easy to
Well,
drink.
I love that this discussion came up.
Oh, okay.
Fast forward to the
It
end.
was planned. We planted that.
That's
Thank you,
right.
Robin.
Whoa.
You did it right on cue.
That's right.
Perfect.
This is going to be a hook at the end of the night. So, all right.
Ready?
Next slide, please. All right, primary flavors. Let's go back into kind of what we were talking about, right? Lemon zest, grapefruit, honeydew, nectarine, saline.
Saline.
Is it dry? Yes. Light in body. I would give this guy a medium body. This one's a little heftier, though it does show that this is a little warmer growth Albarino, that the cooler growth near the ocean that's kind of gives you an insight into what you would expect, right?
Okay.
Tannin low to none, it's white. High acidity. This guy's got a little less acidity. I would go medium plus rather than full on. So it's another thing. If you like a really zingy wine, and it is common in Spain to have very zingy acid driven whites.
Okay.
There's going to be an Albarino out there for you if you prefer that. And then alcohol content, we're up toward the top. The 13, top would be 13 and a half. He's next. So where is it grown? Like you were talking about Spain in orange, Portugal in green, right?
The United States.
And then the other
States is
everything
South
else is
America.
that little sliver on the top, which is
Wow.
why I thought it was kind of funny that the included picture was from Lodi,
Right.
because I'm like, well, there's almost nothing there. It's like 300 acres in the US.
Is wine Bali in California?
Yes,
Right.
they are. So you know what? Fair enough. And thank you for the pictures, Wine Folly. Not complaining. So United States, Argentina, Chile, Brazil, Uruguay. Usually a blending grape in the other countries. Stands on its own in Spain and Portugal.
So under 14,000 acres in the world.
In the world. Yeah. So don't switch yet. I'm going to go through some other fun things about Albarino. August 1st is Albarino Day.
Oh, really? It has
There
a
we go. It
day?
has a day.
This is an international day or a
Right.
US day?
It's an international wine
Okay,
day. So.
cool.
Unique in Spain. We already talked about the fact that they tend to list Albarino as the grape in Spain, whereas they usually don't do
Not the
that.
region.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, all right. So those are my Albarino
your
wine
fun
facts.
facts?
I'm
Okay.
done. Fun fact. All right. So let's talk about the grape. We talked about this thicker skin, thicker peripheral zone than we usually see in white grapes. I'd probably see something like this in Semillon as another grape that I would think of.
So thicker skin and thicker peripheral zone.
Right.
Okay.
But it does tend to balance out because it still keeps a lot of acidity in the middle. It takes a little longer to ripen. We are dealing, so in order to do that, you're going to need a longer growing season that remains dry. And so you can't do that everywhere. Otherwise, you're going to get something that's younger. It's going to be fresh and tart and more wound up, not good, bad, or sideways. It depends on what you want
Sure.
out of it, but that would be closer to the coast.
Okay.
So, all right, here we go.
Hey, Jeff.
Immediately.
Yes.
Maybe, I don't know. So Jen, we're arguing about my comment here, I guess, but I feel like I needed water between my glasses. And I said, I felt like my palate needs a break. And Jen said,
Maybe it reinvigorates it.
a little more positive.
So maybe the water reinvigorates it and keeps it fresh.
Yeah.
I see that as a possibility. Yeah. Cleanse your palate and then you hit it with fresh taste buds again.
Maybe. I mean, it said saline too. Maybe that's why I'm
Yeah.
thirsty.
Mhm.
It could be. Yeah,
Sure.
there is definitely like a little salty melon thing going on there.
Mhm.
Related to that, I was just telling Chris, it reminds me kind of like of a Gatorade or a sports drink where it makes you a little bit thirsty. And so then you keep drinking water while you're sipping it.
Okay. Like I said, and just imagine that little saline hint if you were dealing with ceviche or with raw oysters or mussels.
Oh, sure.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Just give you that
It's gonna
little
enhance it a
bump.
little bit.
Yeah.
Mhm. Sure.
The grapes are making me thirsty. And that made me drink more wine.
Yeah.
It's a
I
conspiracy.
don't think that's what he was saying, but that's fine.
Enjoy it with bruschetta.
Bruschetta, yeah.
Oh, I'll
great.
tell you, that would be fantastic.
then-
Especially bruschetta with grilled shrimp.
August 2nd is a Tuesday. Oh, maybe we have to have another Albarino on August 2nd, the day after Albarino
After
Day.
Albarino.
There you go.
I could find another one. All right. Next,
Ready?
please. Yep. All right. So where in the world are we?
The
Here we are.
center, right?
We're
Pretty
in
much
the,
just-
yeah, we're pretty much in the center because we're at the northwestern point of Spain.
Right.
So we're right here in the center.
there.
No, it's
in
on the back of the label,
wine
Jeff.
growing.
Jeff,
That's
it's on
right,
the
I
back of the
know.
label. It's in the details.
That's the only reason
Exactly.
why I knew where we were.
So-
There's Portugal,
There
just
we go.
above there.
Rias Baixas is right here.
Okay.
So you see, you're way out on the coast, even though I was talking about inland a bit, it's
Mhm.
because it's inland compared to, right?
Okay.
Compared to some other regions. Oh, wrong way. Here we go. Rias Baixas. So we're in Galicia or Galicia, depending on how.
If you say it
wanna put it.
Castilian or not.
Right.
Yep.
And so within here we are at inland. So when I say inland, we're not on the coast like these guys, the Condado de Teja. So this is the Teja River. That's why it's basically called Teja country, right? So basically it's the country of the Teja River is what the name is. And this is mountainous. It immediately becomes mountainous when you go inland. So where it loses some of the sea breezes to keep it
Mhm.
cool, it does gain something from the
Altitude.
mountains, but not as much. So it is a warmer growth area, which gets a little more ripeness, which is part of what they wanted here. So this region of Spain, it's cooled. Most of the region is cooled greatly by the Atlantic Ocean. This area is modestly cooled by the Atlantic Ocean,
Okay.
but it gets a little more altitude, but not as much. And it also it has, the soil is thin and it has a lot of granite and slate. And the
Oh, okay.
slate retains the heat at night, so it
Mhm.
also helps it ripen more.
Okay.
So this is a very ripe version of Albarino, and it's what they were going for.
Okay.
So
And you said like a different version of Albarino would be, what would it taste like? I forgot.
a
what you said.
lot more acid, a lot more tart.
Okay.
You would get a lot more, say, lime rind.
Okay.
You would get as much salinity, no doubt. That would, if not more.
Okay.
So it would be a little lighter in color, more acid, lower alcohol, and more citrus.
I feel like I'm getting more salinity as it warms up too.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
get that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Ready?
Yes. All right. So here's the area. So it's kind of mountainous in the area. Slate radiates. This is the warmest and driest subzone of Rias Baixas.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a long growing season without rains, which allow them to keep it on there. So to really gain some character from the different minerality, and to gain a lot of ripeness from the extra time in the sun and the warmth. And so this is definitely like I said, they're going for a specific style of Albarino on here,
Is this
and higher alcohol too.
fog, or are we so high up that it's clouds?
That is fog
Okay.
coming up off the
Because
river.
I was like, I
Yeah.
think that's a river, so it should, okay,
That's the River Teja.
all right.
Oh, I just breathed a little bit of Albarino. I may cough. Excuse me. So let's see.
good?
I think I covered most of those things. Yep. Let's go to the next one. It's
Okay.
another beautiful picture,
Oh, wow.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is in this is not just Rias Baixas. This is in
This is
the Condado
cool.
de
Okay.
Teja region.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
It's not all them. Okay. A little tear right here. Okay.
Ready?
Yes. So one of the other things in this region is that they tend to do high pergolas
Mm-hmm.
to give the grapes maximum sun exposure, because a lot of the areas need extra sun because it is fairly cool.
Okay.
Like when you get to the coast, the growing season's average warm temperature is 63 degrees.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So here it's so hot that it's 74. Right. So we're not talking about 102 like Australia.
Right,
This is something where they need the exposure. And they also, because inland,
Mhm.
you don't get as much breeze, they lift it up to get every breeze they can to keep fungus
Okay.
from forming on the grapes.
Is that's a concern here?
It is a concern here, even
Okay.
with the thick skins, because we talked about thick skinned grapes
Right.
tend to be more resistant to fungus.
Mhm.
But here, there's evidently enough moisture that they need the breeze to dry
Okay.
those grapes out so they don't they don't rot.
Because we often talk about regions too, that just because of the climate, they're not going to get fungus.
Right.
Because
Oh, yeah,
it's so
there's some.
arid or it's so
Yeah.
cold at, at night or whatever.
Absolutely.
yeah, and we've-
Especially in Spain.
Right.
Yeah.
We've talked about before, like the different, sometimes it's just like winemakers' preference or growers' preference to what, as to whether they lift it up or they just let them grow like naturally in clumps or whatever.
Well, and the thing here, this is a greenbelt area of Spain.
What does that mean?
So it's really,
It's very fertile.
it's
How
more
come-
fertile, not too fertile.
Okay.
But it is more fertile, but it's more wet. All right. There are trees and like, look at the grass.
Yeah.
Right. In those other areas in Spain, like Jumilla, it's a freaking desert. Like,
Yeah.
like, I can't remember the guy. In Jumilla, the winemaker, but it's anyway, his quote was, there was nothing here except for donkeys before I planted my grapes. And that was in Jumilla because it's just desert. So
Well, and then the Canary Islands, it's just like rocks.
it was Juan Hill.
Was it Juan Hill?
Yeah. Yeah, the Canary Islands. It's just rocks.
Yeah, it's just rocks. And this, grass is unusual
I
to
know.
see.
It's
in
so
between.
lovely. So,
It is lovely. I guess they have they have to battle some
Mhm.
possible fungus or whatever. And
They
things
might
because of
actually
it.
have a few bugs.
Oh, true.
Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
There's so many of the regions done. They're like, but like we were talking about with Mendoza in Argentina, they're all organic because why? They
Right.
don't have to fight anything. They have no fungus and no bugs.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Ready?
Yes. All right. So this is just a little view of the Columna winery.
Oops.
Um,
Sorry.
That's right. There we go.
I was
vine-
trying to adjust the people gallery so I could
Mhm.
see everybody and hit the slides.
So I saw two things on the age of the vines here. One of them said the mid 70s. The other one said an average of 1988. I'm assuming the oldest are from the mid 70s.
Okay.
And then they had to replant some, right?
Right,
So
okay.
let's go with the average of from 1988. Still old. Sad that is true.
Yes. Very sad that that is true.
Winemaker is
Like 88, that was, I don't know, 15 years ago.
yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Winemaker is Rodri Mendez. His nickname is the Guru of Albarino.
Ah,
So
so
he's
this is what
an
he
Albarino. This
does.
is what he does. This is
Okay.
the only wine that he makes.
Oh, wow.
This is it.
Okay, yeah.
It's Albarino,
Mhm.
period. Hand harvested, sustainably grown, fermented with indigenous yeast from the area. And it's just a real expression of exactly the grapes being grown in that region,
Mhm.
produced by someone who absolutely loves what can be produced there. And that's what we're drinking.
So
tonight.
these are high enough that you can walk underneath them?
Yes.
Oh, that would be gorgeous. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know that all of them are, but
But the,
yeah.
is that an actual church or was it a church and it's part of the winery now? Do you know?
I think it's just adjacent to the property.
Okay,
Mhm. So,
ready?
all right. So we should stop and have a talk
We
before
should.
we go on to the next step here. All right. So that's the spiel.
Yep. So what do you think about, you're tasting the wine, any questions, and what are you eating with it? If you're eating.
I made some smoked wings today, and I used a little bit too much paprika and too much chili powder, so they were a little spicy, but it actually turned out well because as everyone was talking about, it made you more thirsty, it made you want to drink more, so it kind of paired well with the super spicy wings.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. So
you can't make it too spicy for me. so.
yeah, right.
Mhm.
Yeah, me too. But
Yeah.
He says that as he's sweating.
I was sweating, but I liked it.
I like it that way.
Oh, and the Hogshead's baked halibut steaks.
Oh,
yeah.
nice. That's a
Mhm.
good call. I like it.
Mhm.
We had paella.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah,
perfect.
paella, grouper
Mhm.
tacos.
Mhm. Oh, grouper tacos. I was
Yeah.
like, and when he said that, I was like, paella is not grouper tacos. And then I saw the chat.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I love it. Some great pairings.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Oh, and then Linda said bruschetta earlier, so salad and bruschetta. Yeah, absolutely.
We
Mhm.
did
So-
shrimp and beef, so kind of like right exactly where the recommendations were, and I think it like
No, sorry. sorry, the wine cut the butter nicely and went well with like the lemon zest and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I could almost see it with like a pasta primavera thing,
Mhm.
you know, the kind of, I think that would go nicely
Yeah.
with it. So it's a versatile wine. It's got enough going on to pair with a lot of things, and it's delicate enough not to trounce on more, you know, on oysters and scallops and things. So I don't know. I like it. I think it's very nice.
I love that you're mentioning oysters and scallops, 'cause two of your favorite things.
Two of my favorite things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Hint, hint.
That's why Jeff in the first slide, when he was saying pairings, he's like, for a bonus, scallops, because that's just anything. Like
Anything scallops.
anything you add scallops or bacon to for you. Like
What if it was
what a bonus.
bacon wrapped scallops?
Can you do bacon wrap that wouldn't overwhelm this, the bacon?
I think you could handle it.
I'm
That
having
would be fine.
bacon. I'll raise my hand. I'm having bacon in my salad and it goes amazing.
Oh,
Oh,
great.
good.
But I'll say that Paul and I, yeah. If it can't go with bacon, then it just shouldn't go. But it works well.
All right.
It really does. It works well. So I feel like the minerality from the wine with the bacon, I don't know. I feel like it really pairs well.
Right.
That sounds great.
Awesome.
See,
Well-
we'll have to do some bacon wrap scallops.
I'm getting a lot of pleasurable remarks on a white wine, which makes me happy.
There you go. As long as you don't do 2 weeks in a row of white wine.
That's right. Not 2 weeks.
Mm.
Oh,
And Brian's saying yes.
I'll
2
get a
weeks in row.
mutiny.
Yeah, you will have a mutiny.
All right. So let's go ahead and jump
Visit
back.
on August 1st.
What'd you say?
Revisit on August 1st.
Yeah,
There
we're
we go.
okay. All the way till August to
That's right.
revisit white. Would you like for me to share?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So we'll go through my spiel on ratings, I believe is next. Yes. So ratings on this guy were up in the outstanding category, a wine of superior character and style. All right. So we talked about this before. So that's a great rating. But it's
Mhm.
not the only rating that has to be out there. I mean, a rating in the 80s is, like it says right here, it's supposed to be a very good wine with special qualities, not just very good, not just good, special qualities. And yet a lot of people look at it as, oh my gosh, in 86, I would never touch it. And it's like, really? Really? So anyway, even in 80, 84, a good, solid, well-made wine. So you don't get down to mediocre until you're in the 70s. And then the other side to always remember is if you're a red wine drinker and you're not enjoying it very much, right? Because you're, I'm a red wine drinker, it's my thing. But is it clean, well made? Is it at least well made? If it's at least very well made and hits the points that it should be and doesn't have off flavors and scents, you should be 85 plus.
Well, isn't it too like the complexity of it too? So it's not just like you're looking for things to talk about.
Right.
In it.
Does it stand
So
out?
like a poorly made wine would be something that it's very just like surface level. It's not, you're not getting any complexity to it. You're not getting
Yep.
any evolution to it. And
Good point, which is that I call that being linear, right?
Okay.
All right. So my example of a good linear white is inexpensive Pinot Grigio.
okay.
Inexpensive Pinot Grigio, I just call it lemon water that makes you feel funny, right? It's just lemon water and you feel funny after you drink enough
So
of it.
so you don't mean good example, you mean a
That would be an
typical example.
That would be an
of- you don't
example
mean-
of a low ranking Pinot
Okay.
Grigio for me,
Right.
because it would be linear and uninteresting
Mhm.
and there's not a lot to it, right?
Okay.
And then, you
And
know,
so for that, if it was something like that,
Mhm.
is that a 78 if you were to rate it?
I'd probably give it a 78, 79.
Okay,
It's
good.
drinkable. I mean, it didn't smell like feet, that kind of a thing. So
Have you had a wine that has smelled like
I
feet?
have had a wine that smelled
Really?
like feet. Yeah. But normally that would mean there was a cork flaw, it's
Okay.
like there's a flaw from the cork and such thing
I
called mouse.
I hear Ross from Friends. It tastes like feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Okay.
I've had wines that I've not been friends with,
Well, yeah,
but,
I just haven't heard one that tasted like feet. Okay. All right.
So,
So
all right. So here we are. that being said,
Mhm.
and taking into account that there can be kind of a, like, this guy's a richer version. People that are tasting a lot of wines are adding in one thing that we wouldn't be, right? Which is that they've had 100 different Albarinos and they're comparing this to other Albarinos as well, right?
Okay.
So there is that one little aspect.
So
which
it's
is,
it's what we've talked about before, which this is very similar to like dog show ratings.
Mhm,
How do miniature schnauzers compare to other miniature schnauzers?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's
Before
an
we get to
aspect of
the-
that.
yeah.
So this is kind of the best in show rating,
Mhm.
where you're comparing it to your overall enjoyment and how does
the
it compare
standard.
as an Albarino.
Okay. All right, so let's see, because we haven't had the chat running, so let me see.
Let's see what we have.
Here we are. 91, nice wine that goes great with food, both Chris and Robin.
Nice.
90 for Linda. 90 unanimous for Laura, Linda, and John.
Okay.
94 for Brian. We both agree it would be great with salty oysters.
Oh,
Julie's
yeah.
rating is, I can't wait till next week. but 91 for a white. Brenda's a 90. 86 from Jen and Jason. 86 from the red wine
Red wine
drinkers.
drinkers.
I don't know, that's a
That's
pretty
right.
high score for them. So.
That's right. That's right. It's a win.
We have a separate rating scale for Jen and Jason.
Well, to be fair,
Very
we
good
think
wine with
we're
special
doing it
sauce.
wrong. I think everyone else seems to be eating and we're not eating at 8 p.m. So maybe we're doing it wrong.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, not eating is always doing it wrong. You should never not be eating.
Yes. Yeah, true. No,
I mean, even if it's just a little charcuterie tray, we do big charcuterie trays some weeks. Some weeks it's like, okay, one set of crackers, one cheese, one meat, one veggie, one pickle. Like,
All right,
doesn't
just send us your
feel that
address,
way.
Julie. You've got us convinced.
Yeah, we'll come over.
All right.
And then let's see, we've got 92 from the Hogs. I think it's just Jerry this week. I can't
Okay.
see I don't have him on the screen though.
Right.
Let me stop the share a moment so we can see everybody. There we
There
go.
we go.
Okay. So Jerry, is that just you this week? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then not just a plain white wine. So there's
Yeah,
complexity
there's a
to
little
it.
extra going
Right.
on.
And
Yeah.
then Consuelo said 91.
Very nice.
And I would have said a 91.
Nice.
Mhm.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's delicious.
Yeah,
There's
I
a reason
agree
to come
with
back
Jerry.
to it.
It's got some
Yeah.
complexity to it. I am looking forward to having it with food because we're hosting. It is very difficult for us to, sometimes I eat during it and I always feel awkward. So
Right. It's a munch.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I have to go Josh
Yeah.
when I ask a question. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to having it with food and my rating might bump up.
Elizabeth, you're among friends. Eat food. Just
Oh,
That's
yeah,
right.
no, this gets
Whatever.
posted though. So.
That's right. Look at her
So-
chewing.
Exactly. She
So.
chews oddly. But no, I always
Okay.
kind of, as you know, I kind of dread the white weeks. So, but no, I
Hey,
think this is
thought-
very refreshing.
good. I'm glad
Mhm.
you guys like it. This one is one of my favorite versions of Albarino,
Mhm.
and I've had several, right? So yeah, I like this guy. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I thought it would be a fun one, and it was an area we have not explored, a grape we have not explored, which is starting
Yes.
to get hard to come by after a couple of years. Speaking of which, okay, I'm glad you guys liked it.
Okay, so
let's
does that
go-
mean we have another region we have not explored, or are we revisiting a region?
I'll never tell for
Yeah.
about a minute and a half.
Okay, a minute and a half. That's gonna be a long time.
Well, we got to thank our sources.
Oh, that's true. Still not gonna be a minute and a half.
All right, fine. That's what you say all the time. So let's thank our sources. Wine Folly, always, they're amazing. 750.com, Wikipedia, Saber Journeys, Olibrigado, those are the importers. And,
Right.
And then Jackie Blisson, which is a new source for me. They are awesome. Like,
Okay.
really cool wine information there. So some great
Fantastic.
wines.
What's Paul got on the radio? He's dancing.
The what?
What's that? Oh, what's Paul got on the radio? He's dancing.
Oh.
All right, so next week we are going back to red. So Julie can already be like, woo! We are going to explore a wine region we have never been to before, a country we've never been to before,
Okay.
grape that we've never had before.
Okay, I'm a little scared that you said country we haven't been to.
Oh Yeah.
Okay.
The oldest of the old world. This is literally the region where the birthplace of wine creation.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
We're going to Armenia.
You've had this wine.
Yes, I have had this
Okay.
wine. It is, well, I don't want to taint everybody,
Okay.
but I chose it for a reason, probably,
Okay.
right?
Well, yes, but I wonder sometimes if you're choosing it for just to,
No,
just to educate people.
I
or-
just drank this wine, and there's a whole spectrum of Armenian wines. I liked them all.
Oh, really? Okay.
Very impressive.
All right. Cool.
So the Zulal Arani is the grape.
Okay.
And so I looked it up. I thought, well, has this been renamed something that we would recognize?
Right, right.
Oh, no.
No.
This is old
Brand
school,
new
bro.
grape for
This
us.
is old school, delicious.
So is this a parent grape of grapes we will recognize?
They have not listed it as such. Like,
Okay.
yeah. But so the little brother, we're going to drink the Reserva.
Okay.
The little brother, this one is smaller production. It has not been rated.
Okay.
All right. But the little brother of this has 90 points.
And this is the big brother.
This is the big brother.
Okay.
Bigger, richer, more powerful. Right. So food pairings in this guy: braised beef, spinach and mushroom veggie lasagna, liver and onions, beef and mushroom pot pie. So come and join us, explore this great, amazing region. I'm excited that right now, because where I am kind of getting my options limited constantly because of this post-COVID world and so many things going on with
Yeah.
the war,
Shipping
yeah, and all that.
yeah.
So I'm excited to have something so fun, so different. And I believe you will all be happy you joined us.
So let me ask a question too, because I know you like to give us like more unusual food pairings sometimes. Could you
Right.
have a hamburger with this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You could have a
just
hamburger.
a straight like steak with this,
Steak,
too?
absolutely. No, this is
Okay.
me trying to be creative.
Okay.
So yeah,
Any fish that would go with this or no?
it's gonna be awfully big.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No fish.
Yeah.
Stick with like, if you're
You could do-
vegetarian, stick with mushrooms and
Stick with
eggplants
mushrooms.
with mushroom. No.
Eggplant,
You need-
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you could do eggplant. You could do duck.
Okay.
I think you can get away with duck.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. And then.
I mean, if you
and
really
then
wanted to do
beef
fish,
versions.
maybe you could do something like a Pan-Asian salmon.
Not recommended, but if you want to try.
You can make it happen. Yeah. That's right.
Okay. All right.
So that.
Okay,
is
I'm
what we're having
excited
this
to
week.
try an Armenian wine.
No,
That
you
would
guys,
be
you
very-
guys should try this one.
Yeah.
It's super fun.
Okay, all right, cool. Stop the share. All right,
All right.
before we turn off the recording, any last questions or comments about this wine?
I was just gonna say, as a red wine drinker, I appreciated this. And and I said, like, ooh, this might even be one of my favorite whites we've tried. And Brian was like, ooh, really? But then I was gonna bring it up for the recording and people who are new. There was a white at one point that you said, like, this is a white for red drinkers.
I remember him saying that. Do you
I
remember?
remember
what
that
it was?
too. Mm.
Do you
We'll
remember? I
have
was
to
gonna say, like, it'd be a
look
good one
back
for.
It sounds like me.
It sounds like
It
that
wasn't that long
Italian white
ago.
wine from several months ago.
Yeah, it was within the last 6 months.
Yes.
You'll have to.
I gotta look it
back.
up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's good. I was just gonna say, because I know a lot of us prefer
Mm.
red, although this was delicious, like genuinely delicious. Loved it. Would revisit.
Yeah, I know, I can't remember what it was.
Well,
Yeah.
you'll look it up
I'll
and you'll
figure it
tell
out.
us. That's
It
something
was
to
that
come back
Italian
from. next
red,
week.
Italian white, I'm telling you.
You're right. It was an intriguing wine. It was
It
a
was.
small
It was
production,
very good.
very northern Italian.
Yeah.
And it made me not like,
And
once
it was
I thought of it, I
fabulous.
was like, I was like, I definitely liked that one more than this one, but like, this one was also very good. Again, like let's buy it, have it at home. Loved it. But I was like, the only one I would say, like, I definitely liked more was that one.
Okay.
So then I was craving it. Like, ooh, tell Jeff I want a bottle of that.
I will do that. And that's rarefied air. I like it.
Yeah. Who we asking for a white
I
wine?
know.
Yeah, the Gorgetto, the
The
Gorgetto.
Gorgetto.
Was it a Grecchetto? I love that wine. It's one of my favorites.
I rated a 4.5, so I figure Julie and I are in the same boat. So if I
Right.
like it,
Thank
you probably
you.
like it.
I love that wine. That is a beautiful wine. Pablo.
Yeah, sorry. One of the things you usually talk about is ageability, and I don't know if we talked about ageability about
We
this
did.
one.
We did, but we can repeat it.
Oh no. Nope. You attend or you lose.
He's
I
not.
was distracted by how hot my fiance looked.
Good.
I was
answer,
literally
Yes,
man.
saying that
right.
earlier, and she's like, "Oh, the bacon in my
White
salad."
bread.
I was like,
White
"That's
bread.
why she's so hot." We're like eating
Good
shells
tan.
and cheese, and
White
she's like,
bread.
"My salad." I'm like, "Me too, my salad."
Very good.
So this guy, to answer your question, is it's stainless steel production, no oak. It is made for young consumption, but because of the acid and the higher alcohol, could hang out for up to about 7 years. But
Now I
not meant for
remember,
long-term aging. All right.
And then we have one comment from the Snyder's, like to taste this in 2 to 3 years. They think it'll hold up well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I
Mhm.
think it will. It'll
Yeah.
mellow. Like I think it would be a lot of fun up through that 7 year. It'll get a
Mhm.
little darker in color.
Mhm.
The acid will mellow, and there is complexity to work with. And I really like wines that have the capacity, white wine that has the capacity to age. I like it when it ages. I think it's delicious.
Oh yeah, that's one of the things that you like it even past its prime.
Yes, like
sometimes,
Sauvignon
yeah.
Blanc. So a
Mhm.
well-made, not just any Sauvignon Blanc, but a well-made Sauvignon Blanc that gets a little older,
Mhm.
gets a brownness in this. Oh, it's delicious.
It's good you like things when they age. That bodes well for me.
Are you going to start aging at some
Yeah, I
point?
will. And then we've talked about this before, but whites get darker when
Right.
they age, and then the color falls out of reds, and they
That
get
is right.
lighter when they
Right, and that's why
Right.
you'll see sediment in red wine as it ages,
Mhm.
and or you see it sticking to the edge of the bottle if it's been aged on its side, because red wines get lighter as they age, the color falls out of solution. White wines darken as they age because of the oxygen affecting them.
Okay. And then I just want to know if you can get any more of this. Do we have more of this?
It should be here tomorrow.
Oh, great.
Yep.
Yeah. And Brian says, I'll take all the aged whites, or maybe Julie did. Probably Brian though.
No.
So it says whites.
Never know.
That everyone doesn't want.
Yeah, Brian,
this.
I'm going to tell you,
Yeah.
I wish I had some of those. I would have shared them with you. That was some exquisite stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
You went through them all already.
yeah, I brought them home and we drank them because I liked them.
When did we drink them?
A couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
No.
Like, did I drink so much I don't
And,
remember
and,
them?
and by a couple, I mean like 4 years ago.
Okay.
So it was a while
All
ago,
right.
4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. This
Things are
keeps getting
starting-
longer.
things are
A
starting to add
couple,
up.
4, okay, 4 or 5. It was 15
How
years
long
ago.
have I been
15.
doing this? It's been a while.
But yeah.
I didn't have a beard.
Yeah, Brian, meet Jerry. Jerry, yes, exactly. Jerry has some great older wines.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
right. Exactly. But hey, and we're going to do another night over there. So
Mhm.
Found a 1998 Riesling in the box yesterday.
Oh, wow.
nice. Excellent. All right. Well, let's toast to this
Okay.
wine, and we'll stop the recording and we can talk about whatever we want.
Okay.
Thank you all for coming. I
Thank you.
appreciate
Cheers,
it.
everyone.
Cheers. We'll see you next week.